Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this video, then that means the hard part is finally over. I am, for the last time, it was the last episode, man. Nick from 10650, Hazmat Biohazards. This is the FTC Student's Guide to Autodesk Inventor, last episode. And another thing, rendering. So you've got your assembly that I asked you to make last episode, and hopefully you've been able to make something kind of cool. And now that it's done, let's take a look at some of the things that we can do with it. But one thing that you can do that's really easy to make is a rendering of your assembly. So what is a rendering? A rendering is when you take a 3D model and you process a picture of it. Now you can get pretty advanced with renderings. You can change the lighting to be just right and change the materials of your parts. But taking some basic renderings is actually really easy to do just within Inventor. So if you go to your assembly up at the top, you might notice these color wheels and these two drop-down menus. Well, one of these is where you can set a material, and the other is where you can set your part's appearance. So honestly, there's not much reason to change the actual material unless you're really concerned about the weight or the stress or any other thing like that. I'm trying to simulate that part, which is some pretty advanced stuff. By changing the appearance of a part, you can make it look really pretty. So there are all kinds of options that you can choose from with your aesthetics, textures, right? Some of them are pretty hilarious. I think you can make parts out of like denim. Yeah, here's now you have blue jean panels. You can change the colors of parts right here and make your metal look like metal instead of just the generic gray that you've been seeing so far. Also, a really helpful note is you can control click on multiple parts or faces to change multiple at once. So this assembly is obviously already textured up. Once you have your appearances all done and your assembly is looking good, you're ready to render it. So this is pretty easy. Just go to the Environments tab and click on Inventor Studio, which then launches the rendering plugin. There's a bunch of tools here, and you can move the camera to a particular view, add lighting and all of that stuff. And when you have the view you want and the settings are the way you like it, you just press render image and you can set your resolution. Make sure you go to this renderer tab too, and you can see some options that determine the quality of your rendering. So basically, rendering kind of works in passes or iterations as they're called. And the more iterations the rendering goes through, the better it'll come out. So the longer you can leave it running, the better it's going to be, especially for more complex assemblies or if you have a lot of like complicated metal textures, all of that takes longer to render. So you can set it to run for a certain amount of passes for a certain amount of time, or until satisfactory basically just means that you're gonna render until you press the stop rendering button. So let's render this for a few seconds here. It's not gonna be very good, but that's okay because I'm not really gonna use this render. So when you're done, you just press the save button in the upper right, and then it will save in your Inventor folder. You can go find the image and you can put it in your notebook or flex on other teams in the Discord or really whatever you want to do with it. So there are definitely more tools and options here that you can play with, but really if you want to get better looking renderings than you're going to get from Inventor, I'd recommend using a different software. SolidWorks Visualize looks pretty good. I use Keyshot, which is just phenomenal. So here's a rendering of our robot from last season in Keyshot. I'm sure that there are other options too, so just find what's going to work for your purposes and get rendering. And with that, we are at the conclusion of the FTC Student's Guide to Autodesk Inventor. Thank you guys so much for watching the series. I really hope that's been able to help you all out. If you're having trouble with any of this stuff, any questions about Inventor, feel free to leave a comment on this video or ask the community on the r/FTC subreddit or on the FTC Discord on there too. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions if you get in contact with me. So with that, check out our channel for more FTC content and I'll see you around. Thanks.